Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining our Charles River recruitment event to get an introduction to Charles River, and I'll just hop right in. So today we're just gonna discuss who I am, who Spencer is. We're gonna talk to you about Charles River, some opportunities we have, and some great culture, company culture things we have here and benefits. And then we'll open it up for questions for you all. So just to start, my name is Courtney Spraggins. I am the diversity sourcing specialist here at Charles River. I started here about 6 months ago, and so far so good. I handle majority of our way of interactions. So if you ever receive a message from Charles River, it's probably from me. And so that's good enough for me right now, and I'll pass it off to Spencer.
Thanks, Courtney. Thanks, everybody, for attending today. We are very happy to have you here to talk about Charles River Laboratories and what we do as a company and how potentially, we could be an opportunity for you in the near future, later in the future for employment. So I'm Spencer Streeter. I lead the talent attraction team here with Charles River in the United States. I have been with the company 16 years in June. I started as a entry-level technician in the pathology lab, worked my way into management, then crossed over to TA, fell in love with TA, fell in love with HR. One of our beautiful benefits that Courtney is going to mention later, but is our tuition reimbursement. And I went back to school, got my master's in HR management. The company paid for the whole thing. And for those of you in school or master's, undergrad, or just graduated, you know how expensive classes are. So it's a great benefit that we have. And so I'm just excited to talk about Charles River and the great work we do. And because I'm guessing there's a lot of you, maybe majority of you, that don't know who Charles River is and what we do. And we're hoping to change that today. So Charles River Laboratories is what's called a preclinical contract research organization. So what that means is that we work with pharmaceutical companies, medical device companies, a lot of biotechnology companies, and a little bit of agrochemical as well. And the majority of the work we do is to help them, our clients, get from the preclinical side of drug development research into those phase 1 clinical trials in humans. So great example I can give you today is if you think about the COVID vaccines that are out right now that have been approved in the US, we have played some role or some type of help with all those vaccines. So, Charles River being a life sciences company, we do human health and animal health. And you'll see on your screen here, there's a nice little infographic that kind of walks you through a lot of things. So one of the other cool things, fun facts, is this is our 75th anniversary as a company. Back in 1947, we were founded by Dr. Henry Foster. He started on that basic research side by buying a bunch of rat and cage bank and breeding rats and mice for scientific research. So that's kind of where we started. That is still a good chunk of our business, our research model business. It has definitely developed and grown a lot, and the different types of strains, the different types of mice and rats that we produce for multiple different disease lines in models that are out there. So, but if you look at this infographic again, you see the basic research, discovery work, the safety assessment. Like I said, that is kind of the good chunk of our business. To clinical support, to manufacturing. One of our fastest growing business lines with our company right now is our gene and cell therapy company or business unit. So if you are living or playing in any of that space right now with your education, or you've graduated with a degree in molecular biology, for example, that is definitely an area of need for us as a company. And that is, like I said, it's probably our fastest growing business line. What this infographic doesn't show or talk about is we currently have 120 sites in 20 countries. Right now, we employ around 22,000 people. And over the last 5 years, we have almost doubled in size as a company. And we're on trajectory to do that again over the next 5-ish years. So while our competition, other industries through the pandemic did not necessarily fare as well because of the type of work we do, we have done nothing but get busier and busier out there helping develop these different drugs and life-saving treatments. So this one is super exciting to me. First of all, over the last year, over 86% of the drugs that were approved by the FDA went through a Charles River laboratory at some point. And then the ones across the top of this lab for last year with your rare disease, your neuroscience drugs, your gene and cell therapy, and your oncology treatments, you can see the percentage. You can see how big a impact we are making in the world right now when it comes to helping bring those life-saving drugs and treatments to market. This is just a fun little infographic to kind of give a better representation of all the different places in the world we are. You know, I mentioned 20 countries. This is kind of a good spread to show you all the different places that we are around the world. And that's what makes working at Charles River unique, is that there's a lot of opportunity within the US, within other countries. But what that allows for is a lot of career growth and opportunity. I mentioned at the beginning kind of my career path and trajectory from entry-level technician to where I am now. And I would not have been able to do this at a small company. So being a large company that really invests in our employees and is looking for individuals that want to grow a career, we have that opportunity for you.
Alrighty, so I'm going to take over and we're just going to discuss some available opportunities that we have here at Charles River. And so majority of our labs are in biomedical research. We have numerous career opportunities in animal care, animal husbandry, animal research, technician jobs. The experience level ranges from around from 0 to 5 years. So we do have entry-level positions that don't require a degree. And we're also a fan of experience. I know you see that often, you know, whether you have the bachelor's degree or you have 3 years of experience. We love that. Also, we love to see candidates with passion and what they're looking for. And we always want to meet that need for the candidate. So if anyone would want any additional information in regards to like the animal work that we do have some positions that require animal technician certifications. So I typically send that out to those candidates that are interested, just to, you know, let them know these are some things you can do to get those certifications if that is the route that you want to take. And then we also have many laboratory and research positions that focus on, you know, different types of biology. So molecular, microbiology, immunology, toxicology, all those. We have plenty of positions for that. And again, all over the US is where we're located. And so we try to reach out to schools and students and candidates who have that focus. So we do like to focus on early talent. So if you are interested in these positions, but you haven't finished school yet, we can find a position once you've graduated, and then we can kind of guide you on what you may want to do within our company. I also use, if you are still in school, what you're looking for. So look at these job descriptions, see what the experience is requiring, what kind of laboratory experience do you need, and use that as a guide for the rest of your, you know, your college career, I guess. And you can like drive your coursework, engage your coursework to meet those needs of those jobs. So whenever you leave or graduate school, you'll have kind of that background, and it'll be more useful when you come over to us and apply for our jobs.
Awesome, Courtney. And before you move on, there's a couple relevant questions to this slide that I'm just going to go ahead and answer live. So the first question, we have is, are there any remote roles? So the answer to that is yes. We have quite a few roles that are remote across the company. If you go to criver.com, and I will put the link to this in the chat, but if you go to criver.com and go to our career page on our main website, in the search function, if you just type in remote, all the roles that we have that offer remote will show up for you. So great question.
Alrighty.
Then, are there any locations based in Chicago? Yes. So we have a site in Skokie, Illinois, so just north of Chicago. And then we also do have some sites that are part of what's called our insourcing solutions group that are based actually right in Chicago. So that is definitely something we have available. Let me see. Internships for the summer. So again, if you go to that career page at on our main website and type in, well, actually there's a link up at the top for internships that'll take you to the internship page. Any internships that are open will be listed and posted there. Now I will tell you, for our company, it's a little early in the season, so I would suspect closer to the first of the year, you will see more internship roles posted. Are you hearing anything different than that, Courtney?
No, I'm not hearing
Okay.
anything.
Okay. Do you require COVID vaccinations? So actually, as of November 1st, we no longer require you to be fully vaccinated. That is something that just happened. We, up until November 1st, we did, because we are a government contractor, and the federal government was requiring contractors to be fully vaccinated. So now that that has lifted, that's no longer a requirement. So so you're good there. I will just add, we did have, when we did require it, there was exception rules for religious beliefs, and also if you had like a medical reason. So definitely that as well. Okay, we'll get back to the rest of your questions. I'll let Courtney continue.
No problem. Alrighty. And so here we're going to discuss the company culture here at Charles River. Our employee resource groups, ERGs, play a major role in Charles River. They provide opportunities for us to build awareness and understanding, also strengthen belongingness between employees and increase professional development. Our ERGs support groups that share the same identities, backgrounds, experiences relative to race, gender, sexual orientation, and more. So as you see here, the 7 that I have listed, veterans, women, young professionals. Along with those ERGs, we also have disability and neurodiversity at Charles River, which is to serve communities of inclusion, support, and create awareness for people across broad spectrums of abilities. And we also have Juntos at Charles River that empowers and educates members of the Hispanic and Latino community as well. So when you join Charles River, these are accessible to everyone. So whether you want to increase your professionalism, you can join Young Professionals, or even our emotional health and wellness. All these groups are just a resource to support people. And then here at Charles River, we are committed to improving the quality of people's lives. And so that starts with our employees. So not only do we provide great medical, dental, and vision insurance, but also unique benefits such as tuition reimbursement for employees that are currently enrolled in community college, university, or graduate programs. As someone who recently graduated with a master's degree, having tuition reimbursement is definitely a huge help to reduce my financial burden during the semester, which also can cause a lot of stress to students. And it takes away from your learning and your fun while you're in college when you have to worry about those things. So I think that's one of the best benefits that Charles River has to offer. Also, we offer fitness reimbursement for those who are members at health clubs or studios. You will be reimbursed for your service for any services that you pay there. And then also weight loss reimbursement. So if you're participating in any weight loss programs such as Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, or hospital-based weight loss programs, then this is great for you, especially, in undergrad, how they get about going off to school, free meals, free everything. So I think that's a great plus for students to have. Um, and lastly, medical travel. This is a new benefit for Charles River employees that provides travel coverage for members in or out of the network. And this allows employees to receive certain medical procedures and treatments in other states. And that is all the information that I have for you today. We just wanted to give you, introduction to Charles River, let you know what we're about, the things that we offer, how we are committed to early talent and students. And Spencer, do you have anything else before we get to the questions?
No, I think you covered that all very well. We do have quite a few questions to go through. So, and I have been, while you've been talking, I have been answering some of them that were quick hits to answer.
Perfect. Thank you.
But there are quite a few that I would like to just talk through live. So, yeah. So EA Johnson asks, how many positions do you recommend we apply for? So my recommendation would be to do it, to look through the roles that at least appear to be the best fit for what you're looking for. Take a look at the job description, make sure you meet the qualifications that are listed out on the JD, on the job posting, and if there are 5 different positions that you are qualified for and that you're interested in, I would apply to all of them because it could be different recruiters working on them. The only caveat I would say is, if the same position at like the same site is posted like 3 times, I would only apply once.
Yeah.
In that case, anything to add on that, Courtney?
I agree with what you said. If you do see multiple positions that you think you're qualified for, I would apply for them because typically if they're at one site, you would be able to identify that. So just apply for anything you're interested in because there is a broad spectrum of biology and research. So whatever you find yourself interested in, I think you should apply right away.
Yep, I agree. So over in the chat, we have a question. What is the interview process? So the interview process is you would either start with someone on our team on the sourcing side and basically do a quick screen. And then once you get through that screen, then you'd be moved over to a recruiter who would do a full in-depth interview with you and then would then pass you off to the hiring manager. And depending on the level of the role, if it's an entry-level role, you may meet with 1 or 2 other people. If it's a non-remote position, you would most likely get to go on site and see the work environment. And if all goes well, get hired. If it's a remote role, the process would be all done on Zoom, Microsoft Teams. Anything to add on that, Courtney?
No, nothing to add on that.
Okay. Are there any locations in South California? So we do have quite a few positions in California, kind of anywhere from San Diego down to, anywhere from San Francisco down to San Diego. So the answer to that is yes. Again, on the career page, you can specify the location, the specific location you want to, region you want to be in, and you can do that search to see, what is open that might be a fit for you.
Mm-hmm.
What positions can I apply for with a bachelor's degree in biology? Oh, we have so many, don't we, Courtney?
Yes, so many.
Want to give some examples of some of the positions that you posted?
So we have some research associate, research manufacturing services. We have a lot of jobs within our company that you can apply for with a bachelor's degree in biology. So if I am going to be posting more and more jobs each day, I will suggest that you guys follow our company site on Way Up so that you can get notified of those positions. And you'll see what I'm talking about when they all say, bachelor's degree here in biology. So Definitely.
Yeah, I just, an example is we've had some out on the East Coast, some of our East Coast sites, we've had some virology technician positions that specifically require a degree in biology. So that's just one example. But there, yes, because the good chunk of the positions we hire are on the biology and chemistry side. So there's always a need for individuals with biology degrees. If you want to talk like more specific in depth around that, just we'll both put our email addresses in the chat here. Feel free to reach out to one of us. We'd be happy to have a separate conversation where we can kind of go into more detail, kind of walk you through the site kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm an undergraduate freshman. I have experience in the field. Would there be any opportunity open for me? So potentially for, you know, you're following summers coming up, potential for internships, of course. Some of our sites even do, I don't know if we want to call it a year-round internship, depending on where you live. If you are close to one of our sites, there are times when we have individuals that work full-time while going to school and taking their classes. And if that's something that might be of some sort of interest to you, you know, one of the cool benefits we have is we offer up to $20,000 per year towards tuition reimbursement. So if you're one of those individuals that wants to work full time and go to school at the same time, and I know many of our sites have first shift, second shift. So I know individuals that will take their classes during the day and then work second shift or vice versa. So I've seen it work both ways at some of our sites. So that's another way that you could get into Charles River and take advantage of the tuition reimbursement. Cool thing about the tuition reimbursement is a lot of companies make you wait like a year before you can even partake in that benefit. So, for example, if you started with the company today, it's 11/8, 12/1, your benefits would kick in. That tuition reimbursement benefit kicks in right away as well. So you could start taking classes like next semester, and we would reimburse. And a question that also comes up around as well, you know, it's reimbursement, but if I can't afford it now, how does that work? And just in case you're not aware, a lot of schools, I just signed one for one of my employees, will actually allow you to sign a promissory note where you say, okay, my employer offers tuition reimbursement. You don't have to pay anything up front. You take the class, you pass, you get reimbursed from us, and then you pay the school. So just know that that is another option if that's a thought going through someone's head out there, because I know I've had people ask that before. So hopefully, Maria, that helps answer your question. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Arvine Ryan. Major is health science. I am in my last semester at community college. Will transfer to Queens College next semester. My goal is to enter med school to be a doctor. Awesome. Is this program right for me? Thank you. So I'm going to jump in here again. You know, I hope that you get into medical school your first try. Not everybody does their first try. Sometimes they kick it back and you need other experience and something different. And I know of two people specifically from pathology that were their plan was to go to medical school. They worked in our pathology lab for 2 years, and that additional experience was like that bump they needed, and then they were able to get in. Then they went off to medical school. So, you know, it definitely, if you think of it from that way, if maybe a year or two before medical school to get some extra experience is something you'd be interested in, or something that might help you if you don't get in right away, that's where Charles River could definitely play a part. So hopefully that is a good answer for you. Okay. Martin asks, aside from having offices around the world, what makes Charles River stand out from other companies in the same industry? I'm going to let you take this one, Courtney.
Okay. So I will say that Charles River is the first company that I've worked with in the biotech industry, and it has been a really great experience for me personally. Very hands-on. Spencer is my supervisor. He's my manager. They're very hands-on, and it really does feel like a family. And they do put in great effort and great resources to make sure that their employees have what they need, and they encourage career opportunities, and they really want you to find your niche and where you want to go in the company. So I can't speak to totally all biotech companies, pharmaceutical companies, but I will say that's what makes Charles River stand out, especially kind of, I will say not this generation, but at this time, students and people in general are just looking for uh, connection and support at their jobs, and I feel like I get that with Charles River, and working with other people on my team, they seem to get that as well.
Awesome, awesome. And I'll just kind of tag on to that. Having been in the industry for 16 years, the thing that I really like about Charles River, and you saw that on the infographic earlier that we shared, you know, how it's such a high percentage of the different drugs and stuff that have been approved by the FDA that we've got to work on. So, if you think about big pharma, for example, you can work in big pharma or academia for that matter, and you will work on a project. You'll kind of get to see it from beginning to end, but that'll kind of be your experience. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's a different experience than what you're going to get in industry. In industry, with us, you're going to get to work on several different drugs, several different products. You're going to get multiple different experiences. You're going to get exposure to actually working with clients and interacting with them. They come on site and they watch functions that happen on the studies that we're doing for them. So that's a little bit more unique, I think. And then being as large as we are, there isn't another CRO as big as us. So that opportunity that allows us to give our employees, I think, is pretty huge. And at the end of the day, the people I get asked all the time, what's my number one reason that I like to work at Charles River? And it's kind of it's really a tie. It's one, the people I get to work with. Courtney mentioned she's on the team I lead. I couldn't ask for a better team of individuals. But in addition and then my coworkers and other management. But really the biggest thing for me is at the end of the day, when I shut my computer off for the day, I know the work that we're doing as a company is helping to save human life and helping to save animal life as well, because we do human and animal health. I'm going to give you a quick example because he's my real world example. I don't know if you probably can't see him back there behind me. He's sleeping on the couch. My dog Ace. A year ago, he was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. He's on 2 different drugs. They do a rating system. This is all stuff I learned. But a month ago, he just had his yearly checkup from when he got diagnosed, and he has not progressed. He's basically stayed level. They told us we would probably get about a year with him, and now we're like a year and 3 months, and he's just as healthy, if you want to say it that way, as he was when he got diagnosed. So the point there is that knowing that the work that we do, and we've most likely worked on or helped develop the drugs that he's taking to give him quality of life and keep him with us, that's huge to me. So that for me is a great benefit for working in this industry and working for Charles River. Are there any locations in New York? So we do have a couple farm locations in New York where we have chicken farms where we raise eggs for vaccines. You may have heard a lot of vaccines do have an egg component to them. So we do have a couple sites in New York. And I've also had a couple people ask about, are there sites in New Jersey? the closest really to that area is going to be like the greater Boston area,
Mhm.
you know, several sites in Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and up and down the whole East Coast. So specifically, other than those the chicken farms for the eggs, that's all we have in New York right now. But that doesn't mean next week we could find out that we acquired a company in New York.
Yeah.
So because in the last 2 years we've acquired, it's either 4 or 5 gene and cell therapy companies. So we're not slowing down when it comes to acquisition. We've just acquired another company this year, so that's part of our growth as a company. Do you hire and sponsor international students? So the answer is yes, for the right level of role, and if the department is willing to pay the fee. So we can do TN visas, we can do H-1B sponsorship. I've even seen us start H-1B sponsorship and even help with green card as well for individuals. So that it's really a case-by-case basis, depending on the level of role you're going into. There is a high expense to the sponsorship. H-1B sponsorship costs us somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000. So it just has to be the right role, the right fit for you and the company. But it's definitely something we do. Our Michigan site, I actually managed that for 5 years for the site. So, did you have anything to add to that, Courtney?
No, you answered perfectly.
Nope. New York City, we already answered that one. What are the primary considerations regarding applications? I think, Jenny, I might need a little bit more specific information from that question, unless Courtney, you.
Yeah, I would need a little more context as well. But I will say when we are looking at resumes, we just want to see your experience if you have the experience there. And then just matching it to see if you'd be a good fit. So really our considerations are just seeing if you have the experience on your resume, and then we would just compare that to what we're looking for in the field.
Yep. Okay. I think that was a good answer, Courtney. Thank you. Any technology positions? So again, I don't know exactly what's open, but we do have a very large IT group. So that is definitely something that I know we are pretty much always hiring at some site, at some location. I actually have a son who did an internship in IT and then got hired on full time, and he works in system admin now for Charles River. So there's definitely always IT positions. Just depends specifically what type of IT role you're looking for. Are you looking for something on the networking side? Are you looking for something desk side support? Are you looking for that behind the scenes system admin piece? Again, just encourage you to go to the career page and search for IT roles and see what pops up on that. Okay. Are salaries competitive, and how often do employees receive reviews and possible raises? So I'm going to say yes, we do offer competitive salaries. I know that our comp team is always looking at our salaries and readjusting to match the market as close as we can when possible. Raises are given, so typically we do performance raises in the spring. It's usually like Marchish range. And really how that's determined is we are a public company. So depending on how the company has done financially, that determines basically the pool of money that's given to each group to disseminate to their employees. But we definitely do yearly. And then, if you're in a role where you get a promotion, promotions do come with a salary increase as well. Some positions, typically these are your exempt roles, so your salary roles, but a lot of salary roles with the company also have a annual bonus component to them as well. So again, it kind of depends on what the role is, but definitely, these are all things that we're always looking at because we do want to stay competitive in the market.
If you are working full time and then you go back to school and want to switch to part time, is that a possibility? So that would depend on the location of the site and if they have part time opportunities available. So that would be the defining factor for that. But if you are working full time and then you do go back to school, if you are going to leave the company, I would just suggest leaving on good terms. So then maybe when you're done with school, you can come back and then continue on your work there.
Great, great. You can take the next one too.
Okay, given that I'm still in college, are there open entry jobs even without any experience? Yes, so that would depend on your field of study. But yes, if we do have entry-level jobs, depending on what you want to go into, there are those positions available that you can get without experience.
Yeah, and I'll just add on to that. A lot of our groups do provide training. So I can think of like what we call our in-life group, where you would potentially be working hands-on with the animals on the study, doing like blood collections, test article administration, husbandry, all those types of things that come with working with animals. Is that they're going to put you through about 12 weeks of training. So there's no experience expected or necessary for a lot of our roles. We will fully train you. Even like the pathology lab where I started 16 years ago, I had zero experience other than I had been working in a butcher shop before that. So there's definitely, a lot of opportunity there, for our entry level roles, because again, we're willing to put that time and commitment into your training to help you be as successful as possible.
Any data scientist entry roles in and around Boston? So I'm not sure. That's something. So on our website, you can put in your zip code and it will tell you all the jobs that we have available in that area. So I can't off the top of my head say that we do, but once you go to our website, you'll be able to see what's in your area, or even if you wanted to move somewhere else, you can find that zip code and find what's in that area that you might be interested in. So
yeah, and don't 100% quote me on this, but I think that those types of roles a lot of times might even be remote, so it wouldn't matter.
yeah.
So kind of what we've done as a company through the pandemic, is that if a role does not need to be done on site, it's probably not being done on site anymore, and it's probably remote now. We've been fortunate that our company is very adaptive and agile that way. And we made that change during the pandemic, and pretty much everything that changed to remote and was able to show success being done remotely will probably never go back to being in an office if you don't want to be. So just keep that in mind as you're looking. In addition, however, you might want to work in the office. Some people don't want to work remotely, so it definitely is potential there as well. Basically same answer for the bioinformatics. We do a lot of data science, a lot of biostatistic work. We do also, I just recently saw a job posting for bioinformatics. So my suggestion would be on that career page, just type in bioinformatics and see what roles come up, see if there's something that you might be a fit for.
Are there any positions for environmental science degree? I have seen a few of those before. Again, the website is going to be y'all's best friend. We do have those opportunities. It just depends on where they're located.
Okay, so I can jump in on this one too. So environmental science degree has a lot of biology courses, has a lot of chemistry courses. My undergrad is environmental science with a minor in chemistry. So definitely environmental science degree is going to be good for those open biology role, entry-level biology roles. It's going to be good for those chemistry roles. So actually, I think there's going to be a lot of potential opportunity for you with an environmental science degree. So, because trust me, I did not expect with my environmental science degree, I would be working in this field. I thought I was going to work at a water treatment plant or for the Department of Environmental Quality or Department of Natural Resources. That's where I thought my path would lead. Obviously, it didn't. I'm happy it didn't because I love it here. But definitely opportunity for someone with an environmental science degree. Bachelor's, but something more remote associated. Again, back to the career page, just do a search for remote jobs and see what ones come up that might fit your background. Again, and I'm going to put it in the main chat right now, and Courtney can do the same. There's my email address. You know, if you're looking, here's one thing I want to add. If you're looking at that career page and you're like, I think this might be a fit, I'm not sure, do not hesitate to reach out to Courtney or I. We will be happy to meet with you one-on-one separately on a Teams call or something, and we can kind of walk you through, get a better sense for what you're looking for, especially since we can't talk to you right now. You know, that's would be a good opportunity for us to engage with you if there's something that you're just not, if you're not sure of the website, sure of a posting you're looking at, we're happy to help you. And we're fortunate we have, 12 other team members as well that we can have speak to you as well. So we're fortunate to have lots of resources to help you.
Can we apply to work in a specific laboratory location? Yes, you can apply wherever you're looking to start your career or just finding work. You can apply to that location. And if you have the experience and we just want to call and talk to you, we'll connect with you and see, what we can do to get you at that location if you're somewhere else.
So for this, can my degree in healthcare administration be useful at the company? Again, potentially yes. Without knowing specifically the courses you're taking or have taken, the ones that would be relevant, for example. But I can think of like those data entry roles. I think that we would have open would definitely be a potential option. Maybe even something in HR like a TA coordinator role kind of position. So definitely, again, take a look at the career page, the career page to see what's there. And again, if you're not sure, would be happy to chat more with you as well. So our internships we offer are paid, definitely. The other cool thing about our internships, and this is something I learned from my son, I mentioned he did an internship with us, is that not only are they paid, you also are eligible for the 401k. So you also get the 401k match as well from the company. What our 401k match, if you contribute at least 5% of your pay, we match another 4%. So I always recommend if you're at least put in the 5% to get the 4%, to almost double your money. So that's one of the other cool things about our internships that we offer.
I'm wondering if I heard it right. All of the benefits kick in following month after you're hired. This is true. Again, I was hired on about 6 months ago. And as many college or just not middle age, in your 20s, you get off, you get kicked off your parents' insurance, and that was me, insurance-less until I came to Charles River. And on the 1st of the next month, I got all my cards, and so that is true. You heard it right.
Yep, that is good. So this next one we've kind of answered, but I will add to it a little bit. What general qualifications make an ideal candidate? But look at your resumes, your technical skills. But one of the big things we're looking for is individuals that are willing to learn, communicate well, open to share information with their colleagues. That's one of the things that makes our team that Courtney and I are on works so well is everyone shares information and works together. So for me, those are kind of the top things. I can't. There's things we can't teach. You're either a nice person or you're not. I can't. We can't teach that. So really, come with that positive attitude, that willingness to learn new things, that want to strive for more. Those are all important. Anything to add to that, Courtney?
No, we said it well.
Okay. So Lawrence, for you, I think this is what I think we should do. I think that you should please email me. I will put you in contact. We actually have a sorcerer on our team. The types of roles you're talking about, that's all she works on and helps with. She will be able to talk you through your question and the types of roles that the departments would be a fit, without specifically seeing your CV and knowing exactly, where your experience is. That'll be something, a piece that we'll need. But in your case, it warrants a further discussion. So please reach out to myself or Courtney, and we'll put you in contact with the right people, because we are always looking for experienced scientists. That is something, and we do hire individuals with coming from a postdoc. So that is not a problem. It's just finding which position would be the right fit based on your background and experience. Philosophy about healthcare, where could I read about it? It's a loaded question for today. So, if you're talking about our healthcare that we get, we do have nice healthcare benefit package. If you're talking about healthcare industry, this is the world we live and breathe. Our mission is to save life, help develop products to extend life. So this is what we do. This is why we were founded, to make sure that the drugs, the different products making it to market that are going into people are as safe as possible. And I mentioned earlier, a big chunk of our work is safety assessment, and that's exactly what that is. We're making sure that drug X is safe in a living system before it goes into those phase 1 clinical trials in humans. So the Moderna vaccine, our Michigan site did a lot of the safety assessment work on that vaccine before it got approval by the FDA to go into those human trials. So I hope that answered your question, because I won't say loaded, but I definitely can come at that one from different angles. I hope that helps. Anything to add to that one, Courtney?
No. Hi, I'm currently in medical school going into clinical rotations. Are there any opportunities given to current medical students? If so, do you provide flexible work hours? So for this, to my knowledge, if you're going through clinical rotations, that sounds like a lot of hours and busy. I don't know if they would be flexible for the type. It would really depend on the type of work that you'd be doing as a medical student. So that would probably have to be a conversation to see kind of more about what you mean by flexible.
Yeah, and it would probably fall for someone with going to school to be a medical doctor, it would fall more on the clinical side of the a lot of the work we do is preclinical, but we also do have those sites that will do clinical work where we have nurses and doctors, medical doctors, where samples are being, like plasma samples are being collected, for example. So like Courtney said, I think we would have to have a further discussion with you to fully understand your question.
Okay, my name is Christina. My major is health informatics, and I'm glad there are biotechnology opportunities and remote positions, which I'm interested in. Oh, Christiana, actually.
Yeah,
Well, thank you. And yes, I'm glad that you are interested. And if you have some availability, I would love to connect and we can discuss further on to see what you're interested in.
those locations in Boston's far from Martha's Vineyard. So like we have a site in Wilmington, for example. We do work with Boston Children's Hospital in Boston. I'm just going to be transparent. I'm not quite familiar with where Martha's. I've heard of Martha's Vineyard 100 times in my life. Have no idea where it's at. So I'd have to do a little Google search for that one. You have any idea, Courtney?
I have no clue. For the remote opportunities, what jobs would correspond to a bachelor's in biology? I believe majority of our positions that are in biology are very hands-on in the field research positions. But Spencer, if you know of any opportunities that are remote that they can use their biology degree.
Yeah, the one position that kind of comes to mind would be our technical writers that work with the data. Basically, you have the data coming out of the lab, has to be put into a specific format. Basically, you help prepping the data for the final report. So if you think about Charles River and the work we do, at the end of the day, our product to our clients is all the data we collect. So all the data is compiled into a final report, which has all the data, the observation data, has all your biostatistical data, has all of your pathology data, and that's all compiled, and that's what our client gets and submits to the FDA for approval. So those report writing roles, for example, would be looking at that data and basically helping prep. And I'm pretty sure those roles have all went remote pretty much for the most part.
Okay.
So that's one good example of a job that I know that you could potentially do with your biology degree remotely.
Do you have any career suggestions for recent biology graduates looking to dive into data analytics or technology? I could read technology with little experience.
So that would be that biostatistics group, for example. So our biostatistics group hires master's degree biostatisticians. However, there is a lot of support around them, and that would be a type of position that so like a data coordinator, for example. And I'm sure there's some other job titles that are out there that I can't think of right now. I think being that you're a recent graduate and looking, I would highly recommend you reach out to Courtney or I, and we could have a more in-depth discussion with you or put you in touch with the right folks, because I'm sure there's something open right now where they're looking for someone potentially with your background. So I would highly encourage you to reach out to us directly on that.
Are you receptive to career changes? Example, moving from a zoo lab to your medical lab. So with that, I do think so. Yes, we are, because we do have different animals that we work with, where sometimes that's kind of mostly an animal worked with at a zoo. So we can definitely do that transition. And even I think we're very open to people finding what they want to do. So even from a medical lab to maybe an administrative role or an HR role, it's just, how you want to go about your career.
Yeah, we are all about helping people that are looking to make career moves. There's been a number of people that I've helped hire that have done a complete 180 on their career, in a career change. I mean, I even mentioned myself. I did a complete change from the whole grocery store butcher world into pathology, into this world. So definitely, and I can think of one person off the top of my head that I know she actually came from a zoo, doing like zookeeper type work, and I actually worked with her in the lab. So that is definitely something we're very receptive to, and would be happy to help you make that change if that's something you're thinking of. Okay, let's keep rattling through. Hiring entry-level pharmaceutical sales reps. So that's gonna be a no. We do have a sales group. We but we're not a pharmaceutical company. We don't create a drug. So our clients come to us with a drug they need help with, and we will help them develop it. We'll help them get to market. We'll help them manufacture it. We can do all that, but we're not the ones going to like a doctor's office, for example, actually say, hey, I got this new drug that we're looking to sell. Now, where sales comes in for us is going to be going out there and finding that drug company that maybe hasn't worked with us before or has a drug. We've heard that maybe they're struggling with whatever process to get it to market. That's where our sales folks would come in and say, hey, this is something that we can help you with. So that's more the sales business development. That would be the type of sales work that we would have.
Alrighty, so I just looked this up for Jada White. I currently hold a degree in biology with a minor in chemistry. Do you have any job openings in Delaware or somewhere nearby? So we do have some positions located in Delaware. Again, I would suggest going onto that website and putting in your location. So right now I see about 10 positions available. They're of various spectrum of jobs, but we do have positions in Delaware if you wanted to check those out. As a senior graduating in May of 2023, should I really just focus on applying to entry-level positions? I would focus on applying to positions that you're interested in, if it's pertaining to your degree, I would, your last semester, just look into some of our jobs and see what courses can I take to kind of put me on the right path towards the positions that you're interested in. And you will find either it could be entry level or, most of them are entry level unless they're like mid-level, but, and you'll find a position that fits your experience level, and then you can just go from there.
Yep. No, and that's perfect. So it really, this is another one of those questions that it kind of depends, because depending on your degree and the experience you've had, some positions, some little bit non-entry level might say bachelor's degree, 2 years of experience. Well, sometimes that 2 years of experience, if you had like 2 years of experience in a lab during college, there's times where you can use that experience to actually help get you into that higher level role. So definitely, I would not limit yourself to just entry level. And again, the recurring theme here is if you're not sure of something, please reach out to us and ask. We'll be happy to walk you through it.
Yeah.
This next one, bioinformatics, I feel like we've answered this one good. So Madeline, if you don't agree that we've answered it well, please feel free to email us. 401ks, I think we've talked about that one well. Like I mentioned, we use Fidelity Investments for our 401k, and if you contribute at least 5%, the company matches another 4%. So 4 right now is the current max match we do. However, you don't have to stop putting in, you don't have to only put in 5, you can put in 10, 15, 20, whatever, you can put up to whatever the government allows if you want.
Does that training also apply to being an account manager for the company, since that's the only remote position available?
I think, Julie, why don't you reach out to Courtney and I, because I'm unless I'm wrong, I feel like there's more than just an account manager position. And I'm sure the account manager role has training involved. I'm not sure what that training is, but we'd be happy to look into it for you. So if you want to reach out to us, we can set up some time to talk further around that.
Are cover letters required or preferred for a better chance of getting an interview? I personally, I always welcome cover letters. It just gives some background to the candidate. So I think it's a good beginning if you're applying, or if maybe you don't have all the experience that you would want to have when applying. I think giving that background information of your interest is very important. So I would.
How I will just add the caveat though, not required.
Not required. Yeah, not required.
Yeah. And I'm not necessarily going to say it's a better chance. I think it might help paint a little better picture of who you are.
Yeah.
But at the end, if your resume has the skill set that we're looking for, it's really that phone screen where we're going to really get to know you better. So again, more is always good, but if you're applying to a position that I have open, I would say don't even submit a cover letter. So, but different hiring managers are different. That's why you're always best to err on the side of caution when it comes to that.
Yeah. So I'm currently looking at a position on the website for molecular technology in sequencing, and it has a BA degree in microbiology is required. Is my bachelor's degree in biology and minor in chemistry equivalent to a microbiology degree? I think that depends on what your background in microbiology. Like if you know about microbiology, then you could qualify for the position. So it just depends.
Yeah, I mean, because I think back, like my environmental science degree, I had a microbiology class, so I got experience, with micro. But if they're specifically looking for molecular technology experience in sequencing, if your biology degree has given you that experience, then I would say apply.
Yeah.
And again, if you want to talk more about it, you definitely can reach out to one of us, and we're happy to chat through that.
Can we use you as references when we apply?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the questions I think you'll get asked is, how did you hear about Charles River? Definitely feel free to reference this event, reference us. Always happy to, and this is one of the things where, I keep going back to it about reaching out to us and having a chat. But the benefit of reaching out to us is if we kind of help you look through some of the positions you're interested in, and we find ones that are fit, you're still going to have to apply and go through the application process. But Courtney and I will directly send your resume to the recruiter, maybe even the hiring manager, depending if we know them, just to kind of make sure your information gets in front of folks. So, there's another advantage. So whether it's when you're talking to us or other recruiters, if they offer you, if you're offered that opportunity, I highly recommend you take it.
Can we receive opportunity to speak one-on-one with recruiters? Where can we receive your contact info? Thanks. So we did place our emails in the group chat just recently as well. And you can email me and we can set up a time to talk one-on-one. And then once we discuss kind of where you want to go and what types of positions you want to apply for, then again, I would send over your information to the recruiters and try to get you that interview based on what you're looking for.
Yeah, and again, that's where kind of pulling us in to help a little bit can benefit you, because if after we've spoken to you and we've identified a role together that could be a good fit, when we send that information over to the recruiter, we are going to highly recommend that they reach out to you.
Yeah.
And with our team, I even have the advantage that if you're a really good candidate, it might not be optional for them to reach out to you. So just keep that in mind as well.
Yeah.
But we're definitely happy to help with that. For the HR internship, again, I would just go to on our career page, go to the internship piece and just keep an eye on what gets posted for HR internships. Our company uses a decentralized model, so each site kind of does what they need to. So it's not going to be like, Courtney and I are going to know, okay, corporate wide, we're going to have all these HR internships, because this is not how we handle it. It's really handled at the site level. So that's where doing the search and seeing what's out there is going to be your best bet when it comes to those HR or any kind of internship opportunity. And I do think our way up homepage has a link to internships, doesn't it, as well? I believe. I thought it did. If not, we can revisit that, but I thought it
Yeah, yeah, we can revisit. Let's see. Which of your sites are the most focused on neuro research? I'm not sure, Spencer. Do you know which?
So I don't know all of the sites that are, but I do know the Michigan site, which is our largest site. The Michigan site has around 2,000 employees. They have an entire neurobehavioral sciences group. That's all that department and group does is work on neuroscience studies. That site also has its own surgery group, which with surgeons and ORs, and I know they work on neuro studies in the surgical services group as well. So if you want to connect, we can do a little, Courtney and I can do a little bit more research and see what other sites might have some neuro. And I think Christine, Courtney, I believe she just recently did kind of like there's a neuro conference coming up. And Natasha, you might be aware of the neuro conference I'm talking about. I can't remember the name of it, but there's and I know that she was asking around to see what other sites besides the Michigan site does neuro work. So that's definitely something we can look into more.
I am not, well, in Illinois area, yeah, not completely sure what they have available for the remote opportunities as far as having a health administrative and bachelor's in biology. So yeah, that would be checking the website to see what they have available and then going from there.
Yep. And again, feel free to reach out to us. We can help do a deeper dive as well. But with the health admin and the BS in biology, I'm sure somewhere there's a potential opening that would be a fit for you. I don't know if it'll be in Illinois, but
yeah,
that is definitely a background that could be beneficial to Charles River.
And do you know if there are any neuroscience groups in California? We'll probably have to do a little more research on the location of the predominant neuroscience locations, but right now the Michigan site is our biggest one that we know of.
Lauren, if you're still on, she asked how long is the vesting period for the 401k? I don't think I've ever had anyone ask me that question. We'll have to look. I think we'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it's 100%. I don't think there is a vesting period. I think any money we put into your 401k, I'm pretty certain that it's yours, whether you stay for a year or 10 years.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah. Okay, well, I just want to say thank you everyone for attending. Also feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn as well. I guess that's the last words of wisdom I'm going to leave you with. If you do not have a LinkedIn profile, I highly recommend you create one. Keep it up to date. Keep it relevant to the work you're doing. You never know when Courtney might come a hunting for leads for Charles River or any other sourcer or recruiter in that matter, and could present you with an opportunity that you would have never thought was out there or could change your life. So highly recommend if you don't have a LinkedIn profile to do that. And if you do, but you're not keeping it up to date, keep it up to date. I'll leave it at that. But thank you everyone for attending this call today. Hopefully you learned a lot about Charles River. Hopefully, we were able to answer your questions that to your satisfaction. And, thanks for Way Up for hosting the event for us. Courtney?
Yes, I'd like to say thank you as well. This is our first virtual event and we had a great turnout and I enjoyed answering you all's question and giving you some information. So hopefully we connect with you all soon or see you at the next virtual event.
Fantastic. Okay. With that, I think we're done. Thanks, everybody.